that is a question of business enablement. We have the mission to enable people living better homes and gardens. So enabling is important for us. Enabling is more than just selling a product. Enabling is advice. Enabling is combining products to a project, guiding a customer through a project. For the entire home improvement sector, dropshipping and partnering is super important because our product range is so huge. Customers do not really differentiate anymore. They just see the brand and then they want to get served by the brand in whatever channel. You need to close that information gap, inspirational gap by technology, how to optimize processes, how to gain efficiencies in processes and so on. This is also part of the digitalization game.
Here is Paula Macadi, and this is the third episode of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. I love the commerce industry in Germany, and as a member of the jury of the RET Awards, one of the best retail awards worldwide, I tend to follow a lot of the innovation and technologies adopted by German companies. The awards are usually given in February, and this year is going to be on February 27th in Düsseldorf, and of course, I'll be there. Just a reminder that RET Awards is about incredible technology applications in retail, and companies from anywhere in the world can apply. That said, I went to Cologne to meet Tim Engler, who is one of the most modern technologies in retail. He's the Senior Vice President of Technology at OB, which is a home improvement retailer with more than 600 stores in 11 countries. In this episode, you'll meet Tim, one of the greatest minds in the new generation of commerce leaders in Germany. But before we go to the interview, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to OFFBounds, either if you're watching on YouTube or any favorite podcast provider that you have, so you don't miss any future episodes. And I promise I'll keep working hard to keep you up to date every week on Tuesday. And this episode was only possible thanks to Mindcurv. Mindcurv empowers digital businesses from vision to realization. Mindcurv is OB's strategic partner for revolutionizing their digital experience, commerce, and data landscape. Thanks so much for being here today, Tim.
Thanks for the invitation.
I'm very excited to be here in Cologne. I think you have a very interesting story to tell me. First of all, how did you get into tech?
Well, by accident.
You don't have a degree in tech. That's my point.
Exactly. I learned business in school and university, and then I started my career. I started the first projects, and I was always interested in digital things, so I just was interested. And then from project to project, from task to task, I got deeper and deeper in tech, and I did some self-education, so to say, and now I'm into tech.
Nice. And you started your career at Otto. And I love the concept of Otto. I could explain here, but I think I can explain much better. So Otto started as a mail retailer. What does that mean?
You have a catalog. The catalog is sent to the customer's home, and then the customers can order by phone, by whatever, by mail even, and then you get the stuff delivered. It's kind of the pre-stage of e-commerce.
And now they are one of the biggest e-commerce worldwide, really, serving the German market. So you started your career in that, and that was a few years ago when e-commerce wasn't even that developed as it is compared to today. So you saw it from the beginning. Was that something that inspired you to stay in digital commerce?
For me, it was great to observe what transformation means for a company in terms of business processes, in terms of culture, also in terms of management, and also in terms of trading off how too much to invest into existing business streams, existing revenues, how much to invest in new things, how to cope with then prioritization conflicts, all that. This is at the end of the day transformation. And I was very young. It was the very beginning of my career. I even studied part-time next to that job. So it was just great to observe that, how it's going, how managers are deciding the things and so on.
And now it's been 11 years that you are at Obi, which is one of the largest home improvement companies in the world, competing with some very large players worldwide. How was that transition for you?
So first of all, it was, again, learning how physical retail is working. Today, from today's perspective, I think it's a great combination to know how e-commerce is working and to know how physical store-based business is working and how we can combine that. Because from my perspective, customers do not really differentiate anymore. They just see the brand and then they want to get served by the brand in whatever channel.
And how was it going from a fully digital company to a company that had all these stores that you were just not experienced that yet? How was seeing these stores and the potential that it had digitally?
First of all, it's great because everything becomes tangible. You can go to the store, you see how the store traffic is, how customers are behaving. So it's way more tangible than this mail order business like Otto was, right? So, this is first of all, from just a consumer perspective, even myself, I went to the stores before I worked for the company. So it's easier to imagine how things are going. And then also for me, it's easier to imagine how to bring improvements to the company, not only from a digital sales perspective, also from a perspective how to optimize processes, how to gain efficiencies in processes and so on. This is also part of the digitalization game.
And that gives me room for my next question. But first, I like you to explain to our audience what's like Obi competes with Leroy Merlin or Home Depot in the US. Like it's something that people can relate. How is Obi different?
Important thing to know is that Obi has a strong B2C footprint. The Home Depot in the US, I don't know the exact shares, but then B2B is a very, very, very important part of the business. And craftsman purchases are important for them. For us, most of everything is B2C, and craftsman purchases play a minor role for us. So we are end customer brand. And also our stores and also our entire digital offering is focused on end customers. Second thing is we have the mission to enable people living better homes and gardens. So enabling is important for us. Enabling is more than just selling a product. Enabling is advice. Enabling is combining products to a project, guiding a customer through a project. Because usually in home improvement, you need more than just one product. You need to know, for example, what paintbrush, for what kind of wall, for what kind of specific paint, and you need to know all those relations and the context. And I think that is its potential, and that's what we're focusing on.
It is a very specific challenge compared to another retailer, right? Like you're selling projects, you're educating your customers. How does tech help with that?
Coming back to this B2C footprint, I think when your focus is not the craftsman, you exactly need to help the end customer, because all the knowledge you need for the project, for example, painting the wall or whatever, there's a knowledge gap and therefore uncertainty, and that's where potential is coming from. And then looking at tech and looking at digital offers, a couple of years ago, the customer went to a store and then searched for sales assistant, and then the sales assistant hopefully can answer all the questions. What you want to do at home or in your garden. You need to close that information gap, inspirational gap by technology. For example, by relating the right products together, by grouping the right products together, or by offering digital advice, by offering video chat, whatever. So you just need to close that advice gap that is naturally there in the store.
So when you started at Obi, I think you had all these challenges to solve, I first identify and then to solve. How was this? I want to understand your
thought process for a digital transformation? Because it's something that never ends. How was the beginning of it, and how do you do it?
It's not just my ideas in my brain, it's ideas of many people, and then it's the entire organization going somehow gradually in the direction of making things more digital. I think for Obi, a very important step was a couple of years, probably 5-6 years ago, when we established a dedicated transformation unit for that, to just kick it off and to put more focus on it. Today, it's more integrated into the entire company again, but to kickstart everything, I think that was very helpful and important.
I was talking to someone earlier, that he said that what Obi is doing is very interesting from the perspective of hiring younger leaders. And you're very young. How do you think that helps?
Well, it helps to be more probably pushy and more willing to change things. That's the upside. Downside is there will be more mistakes. We are all quite inexperienced leaders. I mean, not super inexperienced. I mean, we're doing that for 10 years plus, but still, compared to managers who are doing that for 20, 30 years, we are inexperienced and we will make more mistakes, and we need to take care of that.
And what have been the big changes that you have done, like you as a team, I mean, you as OB, have done to this digital transformation when it comes to apps or website? How is that translating into the customer journey?
Yeah, from customer journey perspective, I mean, the most important milestones were definitely e-commerce, which is many years down the road, so backwards, and then rolling that out to all of our countries. That took us a while. It was a tough way to really bring e-commerce to all countries. And another very important milestone was then the app, the Obi app, which is for us more than an app. It's our customer account. So everything we try to build around that from a business perspective, to know our customers, to know what they're doing. And I think this is, customer journey-wise, the most important achievement of the last 10 years, I'd say. Then looking at the entire tech, there's so much more about it than just customer journeys. I mean, it's process optimization, all stores, it's improvement of logistics, and so on and so on. And I think this is also important to know, because this is then the efficiency game, the cost game, which is also important in retail to be as much as automated as possible.
So how, I imagine that because you have so many stores, building this online ecosystem, having the physical store maybe as a fulfillment center for growing this across the 11 countries, right, that you're part of. What is the role of the store in this digital, in this e-commerce time that Obi is living?
Yeah. I mean, our stores are still and will be for the next decades the most important sales and profit contributor. And that, keeping that in mind, stores are not only pickup points for online orders or delivery centers for online orders, they are destinations for customers. The key change for the customers is that they come more prepared. They inspire online, they check availabilities, they check prices, they do everything online up front, probably in our app, on our website, or on Google, wherever, and then they come to the store. And that's the difference. Well, so people know, usually they know when they come to a store what to do then. And that is what we try to enable and assist better with opportunities like the in-store navigator with the app to find them on your bucket list, the products, just one example. And from an e-commerce perspective, it's making it a fulfillment center. So each store can be a small fulfillment center. We have like, I don't know the exact number, but a couple of stores serving as, we call them pick and ship stores. And they're specifically equipped micro fulfillment centers. It's specific infrastructure, specific equipment, specific software, specific staffing, just to make sure that online orders can be delivered from there at the same efficiency level like in a warehouse.
And what has been the feedback of the customers? Like really doing it, like they are enjoying it.
The version of the customers that come prepared is way better than the customers that don't come prepared. So we get good feedback on that, and that's why we are also focusing our journeys on that. We are not focusing on e-commerce only or digital sales only. We are focusing more, or we try to balance, on process preparation, to make life of customers easier when coming to a store. So, and that's based on feedback at the end.
I found it fascinating because home improvement is something that we always need, if you want it or not. We always are driven to the store or to research something. One thing that I found very interesting at this website was talk to our consultant, create a care calendar. It's really, the create a care calendar was actually very interesting because it's becoming part of the routine of the customer. Yeah. So, hey, it's time to, I don't know, to do this in your garden. Maybe you should check this out and things like that. And I find it fascinating. And the app of trying to, my biggest problem in home improvement stores is to find everything that I want. And I think that's genius. How did you come up with this idea? How do you brainstorm these ideas? You discovered these problems and etc. I want to hear your thought process.
I mean, that was really part of this transformation unit I've mentioned before to kickstart all this digital transformation. That was one of the key initiatives started there. And it was based on a mix of test and learn, of customer feedback collection, and then adjustment, then again try, test and learn. So that was a journey, probably a 2 years journey or even more. So yeah, we step by step tested and learned what works out and what keeps customers engaged. Because the challenge for home improvement also is to have customers more frequently engaged than just the 1 or 2 times a year they come to a store to get something. I mean, we are not in grocery. We are in home improvement, and customers come 1, 2, probably 3, 4 times a year, but not more. So for us, it's important to keep them engaged throughout the rest of the year, to keep relevant.
So everything that you were saying requires a lot of people. That means tech companies or in-house tech. How do you manage first the proportion between in-house and tech providers, and then the cost for all this transformation?
Yeah, so first of all, I think there's no right or wrong, because it all depends on your ambitions that you're having and the focus in transforming your company, right? At OB, we have from FinTech an outsourcing share of around 50%. From my perspective, we need still some growth in certain areas. So it would be good to have some more resources, and we need to internalize a bit more, especially in areas where we see differentiated potential for us. We are around 40,000 people in total at OB, so this makes like a 1% share of tech, just looking at the internals, which is okay, but I think there is still room for growth. Looking at the cost side, I tend to talk more about a value contribution discussion, because tech is more than cost. Tech is a question of business enablement, and you should think about it as value contribution. And whenever this contribution is positive, you should do it. And if not, you should leave it as it is.
And how about dropshipping? Where is it better? A better strategy for you?
I don't think that it's better or worse. It's a question of when you look at the customer going to your online store and just researching for products and for ideas and so on, you as a retailer need to decide which products to stock on your own, which products you want to partner up with whatever supplier, because it's more long tail, it's too complex from a logistics perspective, whatever your reasons are. And therefore it's always a combination of own stock and third-party stock. So for us in Obi, and I think for the entire home improvement sector, dropshipping and partnering is super important because our product range is so huge, it's so broad, it's so deep, it's simply impossible to do that all on your own.
And do you plan to have do you have marketplace already?
Not yet, but we are pretty much close to it. So we prepared everything. It'll go live early next year. And that is then, I'd say, the next level on top of dropshipping, because dropshipping means that you're offloading the stock, but you're writing the invoice and you are in a contractual relationship with the customer. The next step is then to hand that over. And then by that, also handing over all those processes standing behind that to your partners. And that makes, from my perspective, scalability easier and faster. I mean, Amazon is the easiest role model on that.
And is that what is reserved for the future of Obi? What are the other plans?
One important pillar really is this partnering approach. So a marketplace for products to make the broader and even broader than today range accessible to our customers, and making that also accessible in the stores. This is a very important combination, I think, because we have this strong store footprint. In the stores, probably only of our entire assortment, 10% are stock. So what about the rest? And what about the long tail when talking about partners? So we need to make that accessible to our sales representatives to do assisted selling to our customers, even for third-party products. So that is the first pillar. Second pillar is also partnering for more complex things. We call that solutions. For example, terrace roofing or photovoltaic or insulated windows, high class, including craftsmen helping you building that into your house. So we call that solutions. And this is another area where we think partnering is a great idea to offer that. Not only this, I mean, it's usually in that areas, it's a combination. It's a combination of product and service, because you don't buy a terrace roof and build that on your own. I mean, probably there are some people doing that, but it's quite few. So it's a combination of both. And we try to partner here as well and make it accessible. But we are then, as a brand, as a B2C player, we are then the connector, the translator, and also the manager in between.
And the one who provides this value to the customer. Hey, we have everything here for you.
Yeah.
Come to us.
Yeah.
Anything else? Go internationally? More internationally? Is that something you plan?
Not for the next couple of years. Our strategic agenda is so much focusing on this transformation, enhancement of the existing business, digital transformation, new channels, partnering, that there's simply not too much brain power left for the steps like going further international.
Yeah. And I'm curious, you working at Obi, you probably learned a lot about home improvement. Do you have a lot of home improvement in your life?
Yeah.
Are you always doing stuff? Is
Yeah.
it something you
I mean, it would be a lie that I do everything on my own. But even from my background, I mean, I learned from home that it's great to do things on your own and to fix things and to get things done. And it makes you more flexible when not being dependent on craftsmen or whoever whose help you need. So yeah, I really like to do things at home.
So you are also a consumer of...
Yeah, I'm one of the better customers of our company, I'd say, yeah.
And what was the biggest achievement of your career?
I'd say when looking at the more recent years, the biggest achievement was the entire transformation of our ERP landscape. So everything around technology for our supply chain, to bring it to a new, modern setup, coming from legacy, coming from everything custom developed, more than 20, 30 years old. And yeah, turning that entire thing around, being in time, in budget, in quality, that's not that normal in that kind of projects.
It's funny that I interview a lot of people that say exactly the same thing. Oh, there was that replatforming, it was that big change that involves, like, especially changing from legacy to new technologies and etc. What was your biggest failure?
Biggest failure, I think, was also coming back to that transformation unit. I was responsible for implementing a bathroom planning service, including 3D visualization and all that, high-class advice. From a very narrow perspective, works out pretty well, I'd say. But I made the project too big. I tried to include also remodelings of the stores, include new assortments, and so on and so on and so on. So the project got too big. And also the implementation costs in the stores, changing assortments, changing the floor, plannings, and so on. It was stopped then quite soon. And the only thing left is the 3D planning is gone.
And what have you learned from it?
I learned to cut things small and to go step by step. Don't try to do everything at once.
Would that be your advice to any other person leading tech for a retailer?
I think in tech, it's of overly importance to understand that going step by step, even when having a big plan in mind, I mean, that's always good. Also in tech, to have the overall architecture, the dependencies, and so on in mind, but go step by step. Yes, because otherwise you don't go at all, because it's usually complex.
And now my last question, because we're running out of time, but what are the trends you're seeing? It hasn't been easy. 2023 hasn't been easy with the interest rates, people buying less, etc. What are the trends you're seeing for 2024?
I do not believe yet in a complete turnaround. So I think the market will be low. We are operating in challenging markets, especially from an OB perspective in Germany and Europe. I think Germany and Europe are more challenging than probably the US is next year. And therefore, I think the focus of retailers will be the core business next year, and related to that, efficiency and costs, and not too much the new things, the sexy new projects, innovations. I think that will wait for a couple of months.
And in the efficiency, would you say that AI is playing a good role, or?
I think it can speed up certain things, because you don't need the big tech project for every challenge. You can help yourself a bit more, but yeah, it's still at the very beginning, right? I mean, everyone can use ChatGPT or whatever, but it's not interconnected to your business, to your processes. So that makes it tough for people to really find the best solution for their purpose. So I'm kind of mixed. On the one hand, I think it'll may speed up things. And well, yeah, let's see where this is going.
Let's see then. Well, thank you so much for coming here. I loved hearing your thoughts. I look forward to seeing what's coming next to OFFBounds.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. It was fun.
I hope you enjoyed meeting Tim. He's building great things for the home improvement sector. I'm excited to follow his journey. On Sunday next week, I'll be back in Germany. I'll be speaking at a conference called Ambiente in Frankfurt on the 28th. So if you are around, please come say hi. And if you have any comments and suggestions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or send me an email at ideas@offbounds.tv. If I don't see you next week in Frankfurt, see you next Tuesday with the episode featuring Enrique Martinez of Fnac, one of my favorite retailers ever.